Thank you for tuning in to the second installment of the Weekly Grind podcast. I am your host, Josh, and I will be accompanied by Paul, Dave, Luke, and Mike on this podcast. And we will just be talking about some of our favorite cards recently, 3 decks that we've all brewed together and come up with, which you can find on our Tumblr, which is www.tumblr.com/blog/theweeklygrind podcast. And also on our Facebook. We are looking forward to have our podcast up on iTunes very soon. And shout out to HearthstoneTopDeck.com for letting us use their site for references for stats, decks, anything you need to know about Hearthstone you can find up there. Thank you for tuning into the second podcast. If you have any reviews, comments, anything you'd like to send to us, our email address is theweeklygrindpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy. Thank you for joining us for our second Weekly Grind podcast. I am your host, Josh. My Hearthstone name on the North American server is SpiritBomb, and I am currently at rank 6. I dropped a rank this week.
My name is Dave. I play as WingsofWax on the North American server. My current rank is Legend 250.
I'm Luke. My name on Hearthstone is Entropy, and I'm rank 5 right now.
Hi, I'm Mike. I play as SilentStorm, and I'm currently rank 10.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I'm Ricecakes on Battle.net, and my current rank is 4.
Alright, so we start off the week with our favorite class this week. What is your favorite class this week, Mike?
Same as it ever is. Rogue. Love it.
Rogue?
Yeah, I'm a ninja at heart.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Awesome. Luke?
I've been loving Handlock.
Handlock. Alright, cool. Yeah, Handlock's
How come you've been liking Handlock lately?
Now that the burst damage is gone, you don't have to worry about it because everyone had burst damage with Leroy.
Yeah.
Like any class had a handful of burst damage that could just kill you from where you wanted to be with Handlock.
Yeah.
You sit between like 10 and 15 like frequently.
Yeah.
And you just can't survive in that range before, but now you can.
Very true. We'll get more into our favorite classes when we get to our weekly grind deck of the week. Moving on, Paul, what is your favorite class?
I've been brewing a mage deck. It's like aggro-y, like and mid-range. Like it can play the long game a lot better than the other deck. The other deck is like with Frostlance. Yeah, Frostlance. Like I think it's way too slow and way too situational. Like if you draw one late and you can't and they're not frozen, then it's a do nothing. It doesn't do anything. So I like adding cards that do things like polymorph. The card has been bonkers lately.
Yeah, I can see so. Yeah.
Sludge Vulture.
Dave, what's your favorite class this week?
My favorite class for this week has been Warlock Zoo, because I've been grinding a lot of that in the Legend ladder, and it's been performing very well for me. So
Yawn.
I mean, you gotta play what's really good, and it's been doing really well.
What deck was it?
Zoo Warlock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing that a bunch lately too.
It's a good deck. It's consistently good.
What about you, Josh?
My favorite class this week. That's actually pretty tough, I'd say. I've been playing a lot of Arena this week, so I'd have to say my favorite class is Paladin this week. I mean, I think in Constructed it's still a very viable deck to play, but also in Arena it's a lot of fun. You just get those powerhouse cards. You get big creatures and
Quality Consecrates.
Quality Consecrates.
Yeah, weapons
weapons for days.
True Silver Champion.
Weapons for days.
Yeah, it's a really fun deck, really consistent deck, and in Arena, it's a lot of fun.
I can't make it work in Constructed.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't. It's a fine deck. It's fine. It's. I get that it's fine. I just can't make it work in a way that like I want to not just play another control deck.
Yeah, I haven't played much Constructed this week, but I think all of it has been Zoo and trying to get Paladin to work correctly for myself.
I don't know. I really
I'm
like
still
Lay on
pretty-
Hands. That card is like Sphinx's Revelation.
Well, I mean, Tyrion is ridiculous too.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Only problem with Rogue is its inability to deal with fatties.
Yeah, very
You
true.
sap-
Yeah, 8/8s are scary.
Sap.
Yeah, sap, but I'm like, they play a billion of them in Hemlock.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And they're gonna
When
turn. They're gonna
when they
turn
play
4-1.
two more and then slap a taunter between them.
Yeah, they're gonna turn 4 out
I'm
and
gonna
try
lose
and
that
be like,
game.
And without Leroy, you can't just sap it and kill them in that
Yeah,
turn.
I don't know a way to just burst them 18
This
anymore.
is very
They're
true.
just gonna recast it after you sap it.
All
Or
right.
22.
So the next topic we have is tournament coverage. I think we can all say that we have not really watched too much tournament coverage this week, but we did
That one
just
match.
tune in on one match that was going on in the BlizzCon qualifier for Europe, and it was between
Colento and Tice.
Nice.
and Tice. And the first game was really good. We'll probably tune right back into it right after this podcast. Check it out. But it was a lot of fun to watch. It was just really back and forth. Went to fatigue for both players, so it was just
It was
It's
barely
down in the
fatigue
wire.
for
Yeah.
Colento,
I was
but
gonna say, did it go to?
he just hit his last
Yeah,
card.
his last card.
Yeah, I think it really came down to that one play, though.
yeah, that was very interesting to watch. I think though, like you watch a Hearthstone tournament and you sit back and you're just like, oh, I'd play that differently, but we're seeing their hand, your opponent's hand.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's hard to really
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we
you
know
do.
what's going on. Like we're just Colento, you didn't see that? Like, come on.
Why didn't you know he had mind control in his
Right,
hand? What's wrong
like-
with you?
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Though there was a lot of good plays. There were a couple that were just like iffy, but like it was fun to watch, and definitely got some insight on what's going on in the top tier Hearthstone decks. Moving on to the next section that we like to call the weekly grind.
Can I actually go back to the last segment?
Yeah, oh yeah, go for it. We're going back to tournament
I was
coverage.
watching the World Championships for Europe yesterday, which was Friday, and I was watching Mr. Yaguts, I think his name is, and
Mr.
it's the first time I've ever seen him play in any large tournament, and he was playing some really cool but strange decks at the same time, like Miracle Rogue with Kareen Bloodhoof. He was playing Warrior Control with Double Brawl in it. I was also watching Cupcake, who is a phenomenal player as well.
Yeah, I played against him.
He had a good run yesterday. I know that. I'm pretty sure he's still in it for this World Championships for Europe. The other player that I wanted to talk about was Raynad. Was playing a really strange deck to me. It was playing like the Rogue deck, which everybody assumed was Miracle, but it just so happened to be like a space-ish Rogue, where it's just an aggro deck. Played a lot of Undertakers and Haunted Creepers. It also played Dancing Sword, which is what turned my head. I'm not really a huge fan of that card, but he did squeeze out a bunch of wins. Him and Tides of Time, both being on the same team, of course. They both squeezed out. I think they went 5-0 in their qualifier on Thursday, so that's how they actually got to the Friday matches.
I've
So
definitely
that's-
played against Tides of Time in ranked before.
Yeah, he streams a lot too. He gets a good amount of people to watch him, and he's really
I
talented.
have
at
no
playing the
idea
game.
what those matches were or how long ago it was, but I definitely played him before.
He's also a team member with Hype 2, which is also probably my favorite streamer at the moment. We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the swords, though. I'm kind of iffy about that card.
Did he play
Yeah.
the 3/5 that silences everything?
No, he didn't play that.
I've seen a
The
lot of people
Wailing
play that
Souls?
card
No.
lately.
Yuck.
I mean, if you have Dancing Swords in your deck, you don't want them to draw a card.
Yeah, but I'd just rather not play Dancing Swords than play that 3/5.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Like,
he's,
guys,
he's
we don't
five,
have to
he's
do this
five
to
mana, right?
ourselves.
He's 5 mana, right?
Yeah,
Ourselves.
Sludge
Isn't
Belcher's just
he 4 mana? 4 mana for a
I'd rather
or is
play.
he 5 mana for a 3/5?
He might be. I don't know. I'd
4
rather.
mana, 3/5.
4 mana 3/5.
Yeah.
So he's Taj Dingo status, but minus the taunt.
Yeah, I'd rather just play a Sludge Belcher
Which
at
is
1 more
just
mana.
highly worse.
Terrible.
Dancing Swords.
Yeah,
I don't
would-
even
would
like
give
that
it-
card in
You give my
Arena.
opponent a card. Yeah, no, thank you.
I mean, it was working out for him, I guess.
I like it better than I like that 2/8 that puts a.
Sorry, I come from
minion
Magic.
when it dies.
Cards
man.
are value.
Like,
I love when my opponent plays that, but it never hits anything relevant.
I like
for me.
drawing cards. I
but
don't
it's
like
also
when my
never
opponent
that
draws
hard to
them.
kill.
I'm always confused
Yeah.
when people pick. It's Deathlord, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people pick Deathlord in
It's not
Arena,
that hard to take
it
down.
doesn't.
You
There
can
had-
get,
Especially Arena.
you can get bad choices.
There had to be better.
I guess it's
Or they
it's
could've-
like kind of harder to kill in Arena, where like you're not consistently gonna have like the Hunter's Mark or the Siphon Soul or the
Just
you
a
know.
spot removal in general, basically.
Yeah, you're not gonna have necessarily something. We're in Constructed, like they always have a way to kill
I
around.
guess
It's pretty
a
good against
taunt with
Zoo.
a fat booty,
Yeah.
but
As long as they don't hit
that's
a.
about
But
it.
sometimes you're far enough behind that like
But,
a
like,
Power
the
Overwhelming
negative
or like
side
a
of
Dark Iron
it's
Dwarf just
really-
gets you high enough.
Yeah.
to
So
get
how many
past.
times has people had Void Caller put in a Doom Guard? It happens every time with me, even
Yeah.
in Arena. Josh was there when it happened. I was like, oh, it's gonna put in a Doom Guard, and of course it did.
I was testing a demon lock list, had 3 other demons and a Doom Guard in my hand, and it just so happened to put a Doom Guard every time.
Yeah, it's like it has to be bugged. Like it's happened every time.
I don't even
Yeah.
know why. You're just like, oh, here's a free Doom Guard.
He could have had no cards in hand and would just put a Doom Guard into play.
Yeah, very true. Alright, moving on to the next section. We call it the weekly grind, and it's basically what's the top deck of the week? What's your favorite deck? It basically touches back a little bit on our favorite class. I think that we've been getting our information off of HearthstoneTopDeck.com. I'd also suggest to check them out. They're a very good website tool to find the top played decks in recent events, and shout out to them. So guys, what is your top deck of the week? Let's start with Paul. Paul, what's your top deck of the week?
I mean, I don't know. I was in a brewing mood, so the Mage deck is really fun. I still want to tweak it, but I don't really know what to do. I posted the list on the Facebook, so if anyone can shoot suggestions, that'd be awesome. I kind of want to put in another defender just because, I don't know, I'm kind of like combining the aggro mage deck meets the mid-rangey priest deck, even though they're completely different classes.
Yeah.
But I think mage
you-
has really good removal.
Are you
Yeah.
worried about it being too unfocused though? Like, I know this can happen in Magic a lot, where you like try and build your deck to do anything, and you end up just having like half of your deck does something and half of your deck does the other, and if you don't draw the right pieces of your deck at the right time, then none of your deck really ends up doing what you want it to.
Well, I like this deck because you have 8 really good 1-drops, and in a 30-card deck, if you mulligan, I don't know if they have a name for that, but if you mulligan it into like something of that, then you have a really good start. Plus, you have Haunter Creeper at 2, Knife Juggler at 2, and then you have Harvest Golem and like a bunch of things that feed the Undertaker, and you run like Arcane Missiles to feed the Mana Worm, and then you just have Sludge Belchers and Polymorphs to deal with things that are a little out of hand, like Ragnaros maybe. Or actually, it's really good at dealing with other Sludge Belchers because
Yeah, very
yeah,
true.
Tyrion. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
Tyrion.
played against Tyrion, but I've actually been really impressed with Arcane Missiles. It's so good against Hunter, like really good against Hunter. Like
Which you've been seeing less.
we
play,
were in a
but-
game that looked like we were gonna lose, and then like you just play Flame Strike, and then everything's okay. Like it's really good, even in.
I have been seeing the more hyper-focused aggro mage list do well, like especially by like Player Era is a really well-known streamer. He's also been using a hyper aggro mage list, basically with Ice Lances and basically every card that you already have, just minus like the Sludge Belchers. But instead of Sludge Belcher, has like a one of Sylvanas in the list.
I really like that. I actually I was messing around with the list AJ Soccer.
Yep.
put up that it did run Sludge Belcher, I think, but it was more of the aggressive mage deck, and it's a good reaction to, like, with Leroy going out of the format, things like Handlock becoming better, and the aggro mage deck has a really good Handlock matchup.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I
Don't care about their
There's just
taunt
so
so
much burst damage.
I keep getting this faint scent of Mike's favorite card of the week coming up. I just keep hearing the words, you know. It's just
Leroy
Sludge
Jenkins.
Belcher. Last week it was Paul's, and this week it's Mike's.
I'm pretty sure it's
Definitely,
still Paul's, but
Yeah, it's probably
Oh,
still
Sludge
Paul's.
Belcher?
but
I have a new one this week.
Probably Auctioneer still.
well, yeah, that card is
Auctioneer.
broken.
Yeah.
Just the cards.
Unfair.
The cards
on,
you draw.
on paper, it's fair.
Yeah, but when Rogue plays it, it's dirty.
So, Mike, what's your favorite deck of the week? Is it Rogue?
Yeah, just because we've had to probably tweak it the most with Leroy changing.
What kind of Rogue build would you say? Would you say it's a Miracle list? Would you say it's combo, or would you say like it's
Tempo.
a tempo?
Yeah, probably
backspace?
more of a tempo, but I mean, it's just more of just like a card drawing control engine. It's more of a control deck, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't really play it with like a specific, all right, curve, this card, this card, this card. You have these cards for this cost, but
It's really reactive.
it's
Yeah.
a very reactive. It plays like a ninja would play, you know? Like you have to actually play the deck like a ninja.
do
That's
know
what I
For
love
all
about
that
it.
know Mike in real life, he either wants to be a ninja or Batman, and it sounds like Ninja's much
Both.
cheaper.
It's both.
It's
Alright.
both.
Yeah, can he be both? Cruel world, let him be both, okay?
What's the deck's tough matchup?
Handlock, I'm
Toughest.
pretty sure, is a
Yeah,
handlock.
Handlock.
All right, mine is
Handlock and
Handlock
Brews.
because Handlock is really hard. Like unless you're playing
Yeah,
like
mage.
mage deck.
I'm sure, like, probably Taunt Druid is a
No,
bad matchup, too.
Shaman has a good.
Yeah,
Handlock
Druid's kind of hard.
Alright, so Luke, what's your favorite deck of the week?
matchup. Well, I've been just grinding a lot of Handlock. It's the deck where like it was the first like serious Hearthstone deck I wanted to play.
Yes.
Way back.
Yes.
And then when everyone started to figure out how awesome Leroy was, you just kind of had to stop playing it.
Dude, I completely agree.
And now you can actually go back and play it, and it's been doing really well for me.
Much love for the handlock.
Yeah.
Who was the original handlock builder?
I mean, I don't
trace
know.
back
I
millions
know
of
I
years ago,
started
back
with
to-
Gabe Walls.
Yeah, Gabe Walls.
But he wasn't the original.
Well, he was a big promoter.
I'm
of
yeah,
pretty sure-
that deck.
he was,
I'm pretty
but
sure it
he
was
wasn't
Josh.
the original.
Pretty sure it was me, yeah. I don't think so.
Like, I
but-
just want to play all these 8/8s. How do I do this?
Yeah.
When Josh started, he's just like, oh, Warlock.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we all know who's been playing Hearthstone the longest out of all of us here. It's definitely Luke. Like,
Only by like a week and a half.
yeah, that's true because Dave
I'm
hopped
only a
in,
week
then-
behind you.
And then I think it was just me, Paul, and Mike hopped in after that.
I hopped into it after I fixed my
As soon as
computer.
he showed me, I was like, free. I'm like, sign me up.
Yeah, fun game.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, it's magic without lens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
Magic's way too
It
expensive.
seems a lot faster than Magic too.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Dave, what is your top deck of the week?
I already mentioned it, but Zoo has been performing very well
yes.
for me lately.
Yes, props to Zoo.
So, like, it's just the stock Zoo build right now with Undertakers, and, you know, you just most of the time, will just get there.
I actually just raced a handlock deck today.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
I think
But
I landed at like 25
Hemlock
life.
is a bad matchup, normally.
Yeah, like I'm not supposed to win that, but I
If
won
they
that
have
at
their
like
Moltens,
25
what are you
life,
gonna do?
and
Yeah.
it was not close.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. They cast double Molten Giant, put a defender between, you lose the game.
Double
Too much time.
double Undertaker, Death Rattle Explosion, just went off.
Yeah, Hellfire
It was not
becomes
close.
instantly bad.
I didn't say well played. I said sorry. That was just not. He was not playing a game.
I end up saying that a lot actually playing Zoo, because I end up getting Exactsies the win.
So I think my favorite deck of the week.
Guard.
I was talking about Paladin a lot, but yeah, I kind of have to hop on the bandwagon with Zoo here because it's just most consistent. It's the deck you can fall back on when you're
Yeah.
not too sure what's going on right now. And I mean, there's some small altercations throughout, the changes of weeks.
And when you start going on tilt, it's a really good deck
Try
to
it
just, like,
and
start
Yeah,
playing.
like it's so tough. I just want to say Warlock because like I love Handlock. I played some Handlock. I played some Zoo, but Zoo just like so consistent for me. I don't even know. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way about it.
Yeah.
It's built to be consistent.
Yeah, it's just built to be a powerful deck. Very
And
strong.
it's very open-ended as far as like tweaking it goes.
And it's
Yeah.
cheap. Really cheap.
Yeah, really cheap. Suggested for
The
any
cheapest deck to build, actually.
Yeah, there's no epics, no
any
legendaries, just
newcomer
rares.
Hearthstone player. I'm sure I said that last week too.
I like it when you're not sure what the metagame is going to be like, so you're not sure what is like what to really expect. You just want to jump in there and just, Zoo's going to be fine. Like, your matchup's going to be at least fine against whatever you run into.
Yeah,
And-
you,
Yeah.
know you're gonna have spells to play and you're gonna be drawing them constantly.
But
Yeah.
also, I think with Hearthstone, so many of the decks have such similar win rates that I think it says a lot to, like, metagame what you think is going to be good. Like, what you think is going to be... Like, if you think things like Handlock are going to be popular, maybe bring something like Aggro Mage.
Yeah.
And just being like, it doesn't have the best matchups all around.
it also beats
But-
Zoo, which is something to note.
Right, yeah, which is not...
Yeah,
nothing.
I haven't lost to a Zoo deck.
Yeah, it's...
I've only really lost to the giant mage deck, but the control.
Basically just the mid-range version of your deck.
Yeah,
Or the control version, rather.
basically. That's like the only like. Even Hunter, like. We were in such a bad spot against a Hunter, and then like 7 mana just fixed everything, like Flame Strike.
Flame Strike.
Yeah, Flame Strike and.
All right. So our next topic of the week is our favorite card of the week. What's the top performer for us, or maybe just a favorite that's coming back, or just something that's been doing very well for us, or we've seen do very well. So I'll start this one off. I'd say my card of the week, which is pretty interesting. This is based off of mainly arena play. I think the good old Harvest Golem is just sweet. Like, it's just a fun card.
It's
like,
a solid pick.
it's a solid 3-drop. Like, I know in comparison to a lot of Hearthstone cards, it's pretty weak. But you know what? For a common,
Not
and-
compared to a lot of 3-drops.
Harvest
yeah, that's
Golem,
what
yeah,
I mean.
it's
Like
solid.
for a 3-drop, it's a solid
I mean, if
card.
we're talking about arena, it's like an auto pick.
Yeah, it's kind of like these Death Rattlers that make a body, but I feel like he's like,
Especially with the new set, like you're already gonna play him in the deck, and he just pumps up.
He was even
Yeah.
insane before.
yeah.
He was insane before this set. Now the Death Rattle mechanic, he's insane.
So Luke, what do you think your card of the week is?
Well, since I've been playing a lot of Handlock, actually Lord Jiraxis.
I was gonna say.
Because you couldn't play him for a really long time because 15 life saves you from nobody.
Yeah.
Like, no one couldn't kill you from 15 life.
Honestly, that was the toss-up for me. It was Harvest Golem and Lord Jiraxis, and yeah, Lord Jiraxis is way more powerful. But like, I knew Luke was gonna.
And
say
man,
I
if
knew
it-
it.
mana, so-
Man, if it's not the most fun card to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero ability, make a 6/6.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not to mention you get to just spam all those
People
emotes
usually,
if you
yeah,
want.
people usually just concede though. If they can't immediately deal 15 damage, they just pop immediately.
You know,
that's true.
I'm usually a very conservative Hearthstone player. I try not to bad manner people too much, unless they're just completely bad mannering me, which I just usually squish them. But Lord Jiraxis,
Those are
whenever he
just
comes
awesome.
out, you
They're just
can't
great.
resist.
They're
It's
great.
just like,
Oblivion!
yeah, you can't stop yourself.
I like his greeting.
Yeah, his
his greeting is brutal.
I can't even recite the whole thing. I should just
Isn't it
learn
really, really long?
No, it's like you've reached Jiraxis, Eredor, Lord of the Burning Legion.
Yeah, there you go.
How is that
Wait,
not long?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
no, that's what he
Wait, no,
says.
that's-
You've
yeah, that's
reached.
long.
You've
Is
reached.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've reached Jirax. Or is it?
I'm gonna say, are you thinking of the cell phone message that when you call him is there?
That's all.
And
I didn't even know there was
Burning-
one.
Leave a message at the beep.
If
I'm
there-
pretty sure he says I am.
I don't know. I kind of want to look it up right now because I'm pretty sure it's either you reached or you faced.
You faced
You
Lord
faced,
Jiraxis.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
okay.
you faced.
Okay.
You've reached Lord Jiraxis. That's awesome. I just want to
Leave a
I
message
want to make
after
that
the
my,
beep.
I want to make that my voicemail.
Yeah, I really
You've
do. I
reached
need
Lord Jiraxis. I don't know, Lord of the Burning Legion. It's just awesome.
Dude, I love it.
Leave your soul. I mean, your message.
Yeah.
I bet. Oh man. Never mind.
All right, so moving on. Paul, what is your card of the week?
I would say Sludge Belcher again. And also, I want to ask, am I the second one that's answering? Because I want to ask you what you say last week.
Third. Last week, what did I say? That is a good question.
What was the deck that you were playing last week?
I was
What your
playing.
top-
He was playing Warrior.
I was playing Warrior a lot last week.
Ooh, that's a toughie then.
Yeah,
I think
there's so many-
I think was it. It wasn't like Shield Slam or something like that.
Ysera, Ragnaros?
I'm not sure.
There's just so many good cards in there.
Maybe it didn't even have to do with Warrior either, so...
I'm pretty sure I had to do something more Warrior, but anyway. I said Sludge Belcher last week, and I want to say it again this week, but Fireball is insane. Fireball I mean, I've won so many games where I just turn 8, 12,
Hey guys,
you're
did
dead.
you know about
Been
Fireball?
there.
I think
Yeah.
this card's really good.
Yeah,
Does- Does the
Just
Mage
kill
deck...
people.
Does the Mage deck, does it play Thanos Blood Mage? Yeah.
I play
So
one.
I mean, like, if you
Blood
Thanos
Mage.
Blood
Blood Mage
Mage,
style?
you have 14 damage with 2 fireballs in your hand. I mean, that's the dream, obviously, but like...
It never happens.
Yeah, it
you
never
usually
happens.
you usually
Blood
just
Mage
play
14
it.
you.
You usually just play it for missiles.
Still, like, you have, like, Frostbolt and, like, Ice Lance. Oh my god. Like,
I don't
Yeah,
play
it's just-
that.
there's so many
insane.
setups for it.
With
that just
Water
make it
Elemental
so
too,
awesome.
you just like freeze them and then you're just
Well, okay, think about this. You know, you like have Thanos Blood Mage like away in magical Hearthstone land. We're gonna call it
Christmas land.
It's
in the
like-
perfect setup.
It's like Fireball deals 7. You have the Frostbolt deal 4, and then Ice Lance deals 4.
I want to make a
5?
point about the new brew that I've been working on with the Mage deck. I think it's a lot better than the old version because if you mulligan your hand and you end up with like Arcane Intellect and like, let's see, other card. I used to play Azure Drake before, and like an Azure Drake and like a Fireball. Now I feel like you just lose at
Yeah.
that point. You have no aggression, and your Wolf Riders are awful. Like I'm not no. Like
I thought of playing
I
that card nowadays.
yeah, like dude, they used to
How
play
long
it.
ago was Wolf Rider a playable card?
It used to,
Yeah.
it used
in the beta.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Face
no, but
Hunter.
the old Frost Mage, the Aggro Mage deck used to play Wolf Rider.
Yeah.
I have a weird question. Does the new Hunter deck like post like the nerfs? Do they still play 2 tracking? I mean,
I
two
think
flare,
so.
two flare. I meant to
Oh.
say flare.
I don't know if they
I don't
played
know.
2, but I'm guessing they at least play 1.
Because I
Yeah.
was gonna say, could Freeze Mage be a thing?
Yeah, that's
Probably.
fair.
It's definitely
Like
gotten
not
better.
the giant, not like the giant version, like the old school Freeze Mage, Alex Rossi to 15.
I think it's
Deal you a billion.
I actually
with
have been
burn.
seeing that on ladder quite more lately. But
Yeah.
I've
because
been,
that
I've
deck
been
used
seeing,
to be really good, and you were talking about how Blood Mage, Fireball, like 7. That's like every single game you ended with Freeze Mage ended that way. You
Well,
drew
yeah.
almost all your deck, and then you just
Freeze Mage
Yeah.
didn't even need Blood Mage Thanos to kill them.
no, but it played it.
It did, yeah. I mean, why
I
not?
think it's safe to say that all of us have not played Hunter post nerf. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I've been playing against it.
I haven't even-
I still see it.
I haven't
but-
even looked at them.
Yeah.
Like,
I barely played it pre-nerf.
I
there's
feel like this
8
is-
classes in Hearthstone, right?
I feel like
9.
9 classes. Yeah. I feel like this. If there's future nerfs, which Blizzard I have heard has released that they're not going to be making any nerfs anytime soon. That if it affects a class as strong as like the Starving Buzzard, then yeah, it's gonna make the game shift. It's gonna make all the decks change. Cause like I mean, we were just looking at when we were going through decks, and like there's no desire to play Lotheb anymore. Like not really. Like you don't really need
Every
him.
once in a while
Which
you
is great
see
for
it, but
Rogue.
it's not that.
Yeah,
big
it's
a
great
deal.
for Rogue. Like I feel like it's great for a good amount of matchups. I mean,
It's good for Druid too. Lothar was actually good against Druid. They couldn't combo. They couldn't do
Yeah.
their combo kill you because they can't Force of Nature.
would you say that Druid is a top play deck right now?
I no, probably not. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's been seeing less play lately, even though it's just it's not super powerful, but it's like a consistent deck.
if
basically.
Hunter goes on the decline though, maybe Token Druid would actually be good because that was a good deck with the 2 forces, 2 Savage Roars.
I still think Taunt Druid is just better anyways.
I actually tried a token deck and like Handlock just smashed me. Like it wasn't even close.
Like as long as you're playing BGHs in the Taunt Druid list, I think you'll do fine against Handlock.
Yeah, I mean,
that a good matchup?
a turn 4.
If you have a BGH, yes, it is. It becomes a good matchup.
Not with one though. One's not
Usually you
enough.
just need to take care of one and then you're fine.
But
don't know.
Because then you
I
can
feel-
combo kill them from 14, which is really, like, that's the number that you don't want to bring them below 14.
Yeah,
I feel like Druid has a really hard time dealing with fatties. So
that's
like
why I don't think the hand lock matchup is that great for them. 'Cause
yeah,
you can
so
make
a turn 4 mountain giant. What do? You're gonna big game hunter
You
and
have
waste
to have,
it.
You have to have your 1-up big game hunter.
yeah,
in your
and,
hand
that,
on
and
turn 4.
yeah, you can't kill it ever.
But that does swing the tempo of the game in your favor, which is.
Well, yeah,
which
but I'm just saying
you have the big game hunter, or you scoop up your cards.
Yeah, which you
that-
probably
but I don't
don't.
think that makes it a good. I don't think I would say that's a good matchup.
It doesn't make it good. I'm saying if you have the BGH, it's a good matchup.
Yeah, in your hand.
That's the only way.
If you have it in your hand,
Yeah.
not
I mean,
your deck.
if they follow up with another one, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you cry a little bit inside, but
Even
Yeah,
Twilight
it's
Drake,
not
if
in-
you don't have the silence, and
Yeah.
even if you have the silence, you also have to deal that point of damage.
which
Yeah.
is pretty easy with a hero ability.
It
but-
can, but like if it's on turn 4, it's not as easy with
Sure.
That's why Shaman's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
Well,
Shaman.
I guess Urshock is like amazing. I said that last week that Urshock is like one of my favorite removal spells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real good.
That's why Shaman's really nice because they have Hex, Urshock, Lightning Storm, like Fire
Lightning Bolt.
Elemental, like just really.
Which I was really
great
surprised.
board control.
Yeah.
Kalento wasn't playing
Kills so
Lightning
many of
Bolt.
those bubble creatures.
So, Mike, I'm pretty sure we all know your favorite card of the week, but share with us why you love it.
Actually, I've been thinking about this in my head as you guys are saying yours. I'm gonna do this for both decks. For Rogue, I'm just gonna go with SI7 Agent just because he's consistently gives me so much value, at least a 2-for-1 every time.
He's a huge tempo swing. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is probably going to be his.
He comes
his
out of
in-game
nowhere
story.
and just screws up
Come on.
combat math.
He's got a good one for you
I
coming up.
completely forgot about that,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah. And what was the other? Sorry, so it's
yeah,
Slushmaster
so-
and SI7?
No, SI7 Agent for Rogue and for Warlock. Actually, I'm gonna go Void Terror.
Void Terror?
He's been a new mechanic I've been messing around with in Zoo, and it's really nasty.
Eating
with that
double egg is really
yeah,
nice.
well, the
Or
egg
power
also with the
overwhelming.
power overwhelming. Yeah, you eat
Yeah.
it, dude,
Oh, yeah.
then
That's so
drop
much
it
fun.
next to, then you have a huge Void Terror and 4/4.
It
So
usually
good.
backfires on me, but you know.
Oh yeah, I only play one Void Terror.
I do too, but sometimes it just completely
It
backfires.
gets scary pretty quick.
In his zoo list, we move stuff around, so we have 2 Void Terrors. We don't have any of the Abusive Sergeants,
Wow, that's
but we
weird.
have double Power Overwhelming.
We also have double Dark
I don't know, I
Iron
still
Dwarf, right?
really like the Abusive Sergeant because leaving the 2/1 body behind is just like.
Isn't Dark
It is
Iron
nice, but
Irrelevant.
Power Overwhelming is really nice at getting through some of the fatties.
It
Like
is.
sometimes it's the only way to get through.
It's the new Leroy.
Don't we play Dark Iron Dwarf too?
Well, yeah,
Well,
but they
yeah.
all play that.
All
Yeah.
Zoo lists play that. Yeah.
So, Dave, what's your favorite card of the week?
Can I just take the easy route and pick the one I did last week?
If you
What was the one you
sure,
did last week?
elaborate.
My favorite card so far, still to this week, is Undertaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Undertaker's
that
sweet.
thing's been impressive.
You let that just sit on the table and it will win the game.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that during the Kalento game
During Tice versus Tice.
versus Tice. Yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. Definitely, you could just see the potential and power that Undertaker has.
I
just
felt like
For
watching
one
that.
mana, oh my god.
Yeah.
man.
I feel like that's kind of where he started to make a little bit of play mistakes too, other than the going to face point that he
That's
actually
why
had
I'm a-
for a single turn.
I'm a
Yeah.
little surprised that he doesn't play Lightning Bolt for that reason.
Yeah,
Dealing with Undertakers and like clerics. There's a lot of things that Lightning Bolt kills.
I mean, you kind of have the Flame Tongue totems there to like get rid of one of your own totems to take care of it, or you have the Rock Biter weapons to get rid of it, or you can Earth Shock it in a pinch.
I'm willing to try it out. That list looks like fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm willing to try it without Lightning Bolt. I liked
does
it better
feel
than not playing
really
Earthshock.
weird because this is the first Shaman list we've seen without Lightning Bolts. But
Yeah.
I like it better. Well, didn't he only play one Lightning Storm? That one
he only
doesn't-
played one
Yeah.
Lightning Storm.
That doesn't make me happy because I'm not going to draw that Lightning Storm until
Well,
way.
just put
He only
two in for
played-
the
he
latter
only
because
played-
he built that deck specifically
That's
for
true.
the World
That's true.
Championships of Europe.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna find that until way down in there, and I'm gonna die to every zoo deck I play
yeah.
against.
yeah.
He only played one Feral Spirit too.
Only. Oh, you're right. He did.
He
Now that I
only
think
cast
about
that one, and he never drew another one.
it. That's really weird.
I do remember my last week's pick. It was Kel'Thuzad.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, that card's nuts.
Because I had like that crazy
The
Sarah
Sarah
story
turn.
where he basically was a silenced 4/1, and then I kill him off, and I get a new Ysera back.
Magical Christmas.
I was just
land.
like, wow, thank you, game.
Wonderful.
Doesn't happen very often. Appreciate it. Thanks. But moving on to my favorite card this week, I would have to say my favorite card this week is probably Ragnaros. I just had Ragnaros on the brain. It's just like I just think of the power and potential that card has. It's just so good. Like,
take a game over by himself.
Like I could try and think of all the stories where he's just saved me, but like it just it's since I had Ragnaros, he's saved me. Like I don't even know.
Have you ever had that bug yet happen where either you or your opponent have a Ragnaros, and then the opposite side of the table there's a Kel'Thuzad, and you kill off the Kel'Thuzad with the Ragnaros? Because it's still, they haven't like fixed it, and I'm wondering if it's actually going to become a piece of the game, because the Kel'Thuzad actually comes back into play, which I was like, what is happening?
Yeah,
this makes no sense.
It happened to
But
me.
doesn't it also make a copy of the Ragnaros like it's clearly a bug?
I don't think this version makes a copy. The
Okay.
original, the one
I was
that
gonna
Trump
say, yeah, I
has-
know it originally made like a copy of the Ragnaros. It's like, alright, this is not right.
I feel like they would have fixed it with all these updates now.
Yeah, I agree, but like I wonder if this is just becoming a piece of the game now, because like this still is happening. Like I just did this
Oh.
last week, and it still did this.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's really hard to pull off because if you have a Ragnaros and a Kel'Thuzad, how are you losing?
Different
No,
players.
it's
Yeah.
opposite sides of the table.
Oh, okay.
So
I
if
haven't
the
had that
Ragnaros
happen.
hits the Kel'Thuzad is triggering at the same time and bringing itself back.
I've
up.
had it happen
Yeah,
where my
which just
opponent.
blows my mind.
I've had it happen where my opponent has Kel'Thuzad and a Ragnaros, and I play a Ragnaros and it kills his Kel'Thuzad and it comes right back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, what the? I'm like, I was so angry.
I know how you kill Kel'Thuzad Ragnaros. Pyromancer equality.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, that's all you got. That's really it.
That's the only efficient way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's there's not much. You can try to just
Iron
piece by
Beak
piece
Owl
kill
one
them
and
out, but
Siphon Soul the other.
yeah, really. That's it. It's pretty scary.
Comes from the handlock player.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next topic, which is favorite weekly streamers. Paul, have you been watching any streamers this week?
Nope.
Not really.
I haven't. I've been working a lot,
Yeah.
so I'm tired.
If you had the opportunity, what would that streamer be?
I mean, I was never really like huge into watching streams, but I mean, I watch Applejack a lot because he's funny.
Yeah,
He's a good
He's really
comedian.
funny.
it was my favorite last week.
I mean, I haven't really looked that much.
You just watched Kalenta versus Tice. Which one of those do you like?
I mean,
more?
those aren't streamer.
They do stream though.
They do stream, but I haven't watched any of their personal streams. But I don't know.
Luke, any favorite streamer?
I haven't watched streams in a long time. Hafu's awesome.
Yeah,
She's a really, really
She is
good
really
player.
good.
She's definitely like the top female player, I think, right now.
She's probably one of the top players, just players.
Yeah, that's also
Like,
a
I
good
was gonna
point.
say, like,
she
With
really-
Hearthstone, there's no real need to even qualify it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
She's
very
one
true.
of the top players at this point.
Yeah. So, Dave, favorite streamer this week or a mentionable streamer?
I have been watching a lot of Forsen lately, which I think he's a really good player, but I don't really enjoy his stream all that much. But I do agree with a lot of the play choices that he makes and the decision trees that, come up with his decks, basically. He's been playing a lot of Miracle minus the Leroy lately, and you can tell that it's becoming more of a stable deck. But that's really that Forsen and probably I forget what the other guy's name is right now. It was his birthday this past weekend, so that's why.
You'll remember.
Man, I
later.
forget what his name is.
You'll
I'll
remember
come back to
later.
it. Yeah.
Mike, do you have a favorite streamer?
I actually haven't checked out any streams yet, but
No?
I'm like, I'd probably check out some like if any of the former Magic players, like
Brian
they-
Kibler
Brian Kibler.
streams.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, he streams a lot.
He's also really good too.
Right on.
Doesn't
I remember watching him when he was bad.
Even when he was like just starting, though, he's.
But he was playing some really bad shaman deck, and he was at like rank 20, and he just didn't have the cards yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just funny to watch him.
There was that tournament he was in fairly recently where this was pre-nerf, and he was playing Hunter because it was one of the better decks, and he had to before the tournament unlock all the rest of the Hunter cards. 'Cause he had never played Hunter before.
That's sad.
Awesome.
Just so he could play the deck in the tournament.
Yeah, and he made the finals.
Well, of course. He's also been really high up in the ladder for this season too. He's been in the top 20 for Legend, which is crazy.
That's incredible.
I was watching him for a week straight, staying at number 3, and I'm like, oh man, he's been doing really well. And he's been playing Priest, obviously, because it's probably his favorite class at the moment.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit Legend soon.
Yeah.
Haven't done it yet, but just been waiting to unlock the Legends pretty
I
much.
think you're the only legend version here right now, huh?
Yeah, just because I'm I play infrequently. I only play a couple times a week. I just haven't assembled
It's
the
a
library
grind.
yet.
It's definitely
it's
a
very
grind.
tiring.
And I also just need to commit some hours to just grinding the ladder. I probably have the decks to do it, honestly.
Except this season I didn't put any time.
The
to
Zoo
it,
deck could probably get me there.
That's how I got there.
Zudek can definitely get you there.
Yeah.
That's how we.
Oh,
That's how all
Put
Yeah,
three of us
that's
got
how
there.
all of us
Put
have-
faith in
Is
Zoo.
that what you used,
Alright.
Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
put
the
faith
deck I
in Rogue,
brewed.
too. That deck's good to me.
Rogue is really good, but it's definitely a difficult
Yeah, it's inconsistent
deck to play.
compared
So.
to Warlock.
Whereas Zoo is a little more autopilot, but you do have to make decisions.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
those decisions really impact the game.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite weekly streamer would probably be Day 9. He's really interesting to watch. I don't know if any of you have watched him.
No.
But I just popped him on the other night and definitely kept me entertained. It was definitely a lot of fun to watch and see all the crazy antics that he had. He's just very charismatic and, funny guy. Very funny guy. So moving on to the next section. This is our last section. It is in-game stories. Now, I think for anyone listening, the anticipation for Dave's story is built a little bit.
It's going to be a short one, but...
Yeah, it's a short one, but it's a good one.
I'm going to try to think of them while you guys are going.
So I was playing a Rogue Arena on my EU account, and basically had board position the entire game, and eventually got to turn 9 where it just came down to I cast a sprint to draw 4 cards, and then just hero abilitied and made a weapon and attacked his face. But I happened to draw 3 SI7 agents and a 1-drop. So the very next turn I untapped, cast my 1-drop, and my 3 SI7 agents came into play and killed off a fire elemental, which won me the game. That was basically the story, because I have never seen 3... I usually don't get 3 SI7 agents in an arena anyways, but the fact that they all came into play on the same exact turn was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. Paul, you have any
Card's amazing.
crazy in-game stories?
I don't have one from recently, but the one last week was pretty recent. But this is how you beat a Lord Diraxis. Your opponent just plays it into an empty board and attacks your face, and then you just Harrison Jones, and then you just draw 7 cards and you just proceed to win because you drew 7 cards.
Is that true though?
They do
'cause
have a
you make
hero
6
ability.
6s every
I mean,
turn.
they make 6 6s, but it's turn 10. You definitely drew something to advance the board. A 6/6 is not gonna race.
And most
What?
likely Lord Diraxis is their last card in hand.
Yeah, I think he played it at 14, so he gained 1 life.
Ugh.
He wasn't even close to dead.
So it wasn't even worth it for him.
Yeah, so I'm just I'll draw 7 cards and proceed to win the game. I don't even know what class I was. It was so long ago.
Yeah. So, Luke, do you have any crazy in-game stories?
Yeah, I was messing around with Shaman earlier today actually, and I'd been messing around with Sea Giant because I'd seen it from other shamans on the ladder, and I wasn't even sure if it would be good, but I wanted to try it out, and so I put 2 Sea Giants in my list. And I got to this point against Zoo, where he has a full board of guys. He has some 1/1s from that Spider. He has a Doomguard that he had played and eaten one of my guys. He has a Dark Iron Dwarf out. Bunch of guys. I just have that Spider that when it dies is going to give me 2 1/1s. And my Sea Giants, I have both Sea Giants in my hand and they cost 3 mana. and it's turn 6. So I cast a Flame Tongue Totem that I also had in my hand to make them go to 2 mana. I ran the spider into the Doomguard to get it. It didn't kill it, but it gets it right down to almost dead to make 2 more spiders. So now my Sea Giant's 1 mana.
That's awesome.
So you cast it for 1, and then the second one is 0 mana at that point.
Huh.
So you cast it for free, and I still have 3 mana left to cast a Lightning Storm and just clear his board except for a Dark Iron Dwarf.
That's
great.
ridiculous.
Won that game.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Clearly.
2 Sea Giants, one of them casting 1 mana, the other one being free.
Yeah.
Lightning
1 mana for
Storm.
16 power worth of creatures.
Not to mention Lightning Storm being the best card against Zoo.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
So, Mike, do you have any crazy games?
Yeah, probably it would be the pre-Leroy nerf, and probably the reason I love Rogue. Just this one match in recent memory, I think it was against a Priest too. I don't know if Priest had a good list rocking around then, but it was like kind of just like a mid-range control Priest deck I was facing. But either way, he was at I had my Auctioneer out. I already had my combo in hand, and I also had a Cold Blood. So between I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't have a taunter. I win this game. He's at 26.
Yeah.
So for Leroy Cold Blood.
Yeah.
You should not feel like you're gonna die when you're at 26 health.
Yeah,
Very
26
true.
very high life total.
Yeah. Definitely cut that element out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like turn 6 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a turn 5 Auctioneer
Yeah,
play
it
with
had to be-
with the coin.
It has to be at least turn 9 because it's 8
Oh,
mana.
that's true. Yeah.
It's 8 mana to cast Leroy 3 times, then 1 to Cold Blood.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would have had him there. Yeah,
That's
I don't think it was Auctioneer on set turn 7, then I exploded.
That's still a lot of burst damage, though.
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
which
that
I'm
makes more
glad
sense
that they
now.
nerfed that because that made the game very unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. My crazy card story. This crazy card story happened when I wasn't even playing. I was just watching my girlfriend play, and she's been playing Shaman at around like rank 17-ish.
She's 15 right now.
She's 15 right now.
She's moving up in life.
She's moving up. But it was pretty crazy. Actually, we just saw something pretty similar to it in the Kalento versus, I'm gonna keep forgetting this guy's name. Tice. But she was playing Shaman versus a Priest, and like what happened in the game, the Alikir was stolen from her deck, and Thought Stole. And basically what happened was that the guy ended up playing Power Word Shield twice on the Alikir and attacking evenly past the turn. She had no way to deal with this Alikir. She already wasted 2 of her hexes, and which were on good targets. But what happened in the end is that he ended up using Inner Fire, I believe it is.
Oh
Wow.
man!
They
Wow.
ended up making it a
Ouch.
9/9 with Wind Fury and just won the game. It was
Just
just
18 points. That's Leroy damage.
Yeah.
and he was like on
On
top
one
deck
dude.
mode. That was the craziest part. You're just like, how?
You
Like-
killed you with your own dude.
Like, I guess being at the rinks
Burn.
that we're at, you just don't see that very often. So it was just awesome to see. You're just like,
Yeah.
props, nice.
Didn't she finally build Zoo too now?
Yeah, she's building Zoo right now.
That's a good idea, I believe.
Yeah,
Hopefully
definitely.
she starts to learn that one.
Definitely a good idea. I would agree with that. We did forget a topic, so I'm just gonna hop right back into it. It's just the decks that we brewed this week. We brewed up 3 decks for you, 3 lists, which we'll post onto our Facebook and onto our Tumblr that we have just created. I'll post all the information right after this podcast. You can find it inside of the information in the video. But yeah, hop onto our Facebook. You can find it on there, or it'll be on Tumblr.
Give us a like.
But we have 3 decks for you
Shameless
this week.
plug.
Yeah, give us a like. Listen to the podcast, obviously, because that's why you're here right now. But let's get into this deck. The first deck is a Warlock deck, and we are calling it BGH Handlock. And this deck, it seems pretty solid. Paul, you want to run through this deck?
There's 2 Soulfires. There's 1 Mortal Coil. There's 2 Ancient Watchers. There's 1 Ironbeak Owl. There's 2?
2 Iron Beak.
Yeah, one.
one's
One spoil
golden.
there.
Oh, okay. Fail. 2 Sunfury Protectors, a Big Game Hunter, 2 Earthring Farseers, 1 Hellfire,
Yep, 2 Shadow.
2
Flames.
Shadow Flames, 2 Defender of Argus, 1 Taj Dingo, I'm going to call him, but he's Ascension Shield Master.
Yeah, Taj Dingo.
Taj
You'll know.
Dingo.
That is the keyword. Taj Dingo is Ascension Shield Master.
And, alright, we got 2 Twilight Drakes, 2 Sludge Belchers, 2 Siphon Souls, 1, what is that?
Ragnaros.
Ragnaros. One,
Lord Draxus.
Lord Jaraxxus,
Got
2
my glasses, dude.
2 Mountain Giants, and 2 Molten Giants.
Yeah, so this deck seems pretty strong. What do you guys say about this deck?
It kind of feels
Looks
like
solid.
a stock build of Handlock right now, but like
Yeah, if you play against Handlock, you're going to be playing something similar to this, within probably 3 or 4 cards.
the only
Yeah,
thing
it
really
seems
different
solid.
it feels like that compared to a lot of other Handlock lists is we actually have the Big Game Hunter, which I have been seeing a lot of other Handlocks playing it lately, but there's also the addition of Ascension Shield Master, so
Yeah, just good in the mirror.
well,
Yeah.
Ascension's just good against the aggro decks mostly. The
No, I meant the Big Game Hunter.
is-
Yeah, that's what I'm
definitely-
saying.
Definitely there for the mirror.
Yeah, do you think that this deck has a budget version, or is it just one of those decks that it's just
You need the
Yeah,
legends.
you need the Giants.
yeah, you need the Giants.
You don't need the Legends necessarily, but you definitely need the Giants. It can't work without the Giants. You don't need the Ragnaros and the Lord Jaraxxus necessarily, but they can just be some random finisher.
Yeah,
Any kind of finisher will work. Not as good, but will kind of work in their spot.
So
Right.
basically all the rares and all the epics are kind of needed cards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only going to
Yeah.
be the cost of another legend, though. you know?
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, to get all 4, which is not terrible.
yeah, very true. Moving on to the next deck we have, which is another control deck. It is the Control Warrior deck that I have fanboyed about in the past 2 episodes.
Fanboy? I thought it was fangirl.
Fangirl. Yeah. Okay, I went full fangirl. I love this deck. It's sweet. Just like the Handlock coming back, I just couldn't control myself. A little yelp came out when I just saw Handlock back on the map.
Would you like to list off the deck? This is your baby.
It's your brew, man.
So, in our Warrior Control deck, which you once again can find on Facebook and Tumblr, we will be posting that up. There is 2 Executes, 2 Shield Slams, 2 Fiery War Axes, 2 Armor Smiths, 2 Cruel Taskmaster, 2 Unstable Ghoul, 2 Shield Blocks, 2 Acolyte of Pains, 1 Big Game Hunter, 2 Deathbite, 1 Brawl, 2 Sludge Belcher, 1 Carrion Bloodhoof, Sylvanas Windrunner, the Black Knight, Baron Geddon, Grommash Hellscream, Ragnaros the Firelord, Alex Straza, and Ysera.
That's
Boy, those seem like a lot of legends.
legends.
Oh,
yeah.
8 legends in one
Yeah,
deck.
that's a lot of
This
dust,
is-
man.
oof, yeah,
Oh,
this is another. This is definitely more expensive than the Handlock.
Yeah, this is after you assemble a collection, you build.
Let's
this
see,
deck.
is
Yeah,
it? Maybe we
this-
should do the math. Maybe we should check.
Do I-
1, 2,
This isn't
3,
for the
4,
new player
5,
to-
6,
to
7,
build.
8 legends. Not
Let's
that
just
bad.
say if you just got into Hearthstone, unless you have a couple $100 you can throw into some packs, you're not making
Yeah,
this deck.
you're. It's not happening.
And don't worry about it. It's not better than other control decks.
Right.
It's just another good control deck.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just one of those decks. It's just kind of like having a luxury. There's so many good Hearthstone decks that don't require this much dust, so don't worry about it.
But it's also
But
probably
it's a
fun.
goal. It's a goal to build for. It is fun.
I do believe that Handlock actually has a positive matchup against this deck too.
It
Just
does.
slightly,
I think
but
so.
I think it does.
It's also probably fun to play.
I don't even
deck,
think it's
though.
that slight. 'Cause,
I was gonna say when I was
how do you
playing
deal with
Handlock
idiots?
against it, it always felt like I had 8 or 9 cards in my hand, and they always had 4 to 6,
Yeah.
and I was just always ahead with. And the board was never really that important to either of us,
Yeah.
unless we played fatties.
I think with the change of the metagame, it's definitely made a difference.
This deck also doesn't like Lord Jaraxxus at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
Most
like
decks don't.
But it's just like
But
you
them
think about it.
especially, like they have good removal for fatties. They have the 2 shield slams, which can usually kill fatties, and the 2 executes,
Which will definitely kill
which will kill a
fatties.
fatty.
But what do you do against the dude who spawns
And they have a-
successes?
Yeah, and they have a brawl, but like they just can't deal with like a 6/6 every single turn.
Would you agree that when you're playing against a handlock deck, like, I mean, you probably want to do this in most matchups, but armor is just so important.
Well,
'Cause,
for
like,
the
you want-
warrior control deck, and just for this warrior control deck, armor's it's
Armor
huge.
is
Well, like
your
just,
game.
just
yeah.
like getting the shield slam off on an 8/8 or potentially a 9/9 from Defender of Argus
Yeah,
Or just a
it takes
Twilight
some
Drake.
work.
or a
That-
Twilight Drake. True.
That takes like forethought and work to get enough to build up to have the armor ready for when.
So it does feel like you kind of cross your fingers for the executes and the big nasty shield slams. Like, there's not really any other way to deal with that. You do have the one of Big Game Hunter.
I was gonna say, I assume that's why there's the one of Big Game Hunter.
There's a
in here.
brawl in the deck, so
There's-
the board gets crowded. You got the brawl.
There's also Sylvanas and Black Knight and
YOLO
Ragnaros,
Rag.
which you all hope that those will get good targets basically out of the headlock.
Yeah, I love Black Knight.
Ragnaros.
This deck's missing a card. Sludge Belcher.
It has that card.
Oh,
Two
it does?
Sludge
Oh,
Belcher.
yeah, I missed that.
They're not
Deuce.
foil like you, Paul. I'm sorry.
Deuce.
Wait, what?
They're not foil. Not.
Oh, yeah, I
golden.
didn't recognize them. They're not gold.
Yeah, they're not golden. So Paul didn't see them.
Yeah, so is it a budget deck? Is there any budget version?
Is the
No,
budget
you
version
consider,
of
like,
Black
was it
Eagles?
16,000 decibels?
Yeah.
It's like 11,000.
At least.
All right, Paul. You want to buy me the
So,
packs? I will get some sludge belchers.
Dude, you
I
don't need
get-
any more packs.
Paul, it's 11. Paul, did you say it's like 11,000? It's 11,000 normal to build this deck. To
Yeah.
have
Oh
the
no,
control.
well yeah, I
Yeah,
meant
it's
minus
just
the
like-
golden
He's got like
cards.
2 extra legends.
It's
in
probably
there.
more than 11,000 normally.
Yeah.
I don't know. If on Hearthstone top deck, they're like 11,000 plus.
This is like
Yeah,
the
that's for the
1,500
normal, not
plus.
gold.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about the gold cards.
Oh, I thought you were looking.
No.
That's,
Oh,
but
yeah,
they
the
make
gold-
those. It's
gold
crazy
Karen.
craft.
Blue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I just
getting
got
all
that.
those gold legends is going to be a lot of time.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
the art on that guy.
Oh yeah, I just got my first. and I'm
I have
like,
seen a couple streamers with the golden
Is
version
it
of
the
this
fire
deck, and it makes me
elemental
wanna
looks so
vomit.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they get
Uh,
donations and stuff.
Yeah, true.
A lot.
Anyways, I think
Next list.
we are done with Warrior Control.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our third list.
Our third list is
Home.
definitely the most different from these two control lists. It is the Tempo Rogue list. I know Mike is just dying to go through this deck list, so let's let Mike take it over.
This is a list me and Luke been rocking this week. It's got 2 backstabs, 2 preparations, 2 cold bloods, 2 conceal, 2 deadly poison, 2 blade flurry.
One Blade Flurry.
Oh, 1 blurry flurry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the mana cost there. 2 eviscerate, 2 sep, 2 shiv, blood mage Thanos, a fan of knives, an Edwin Van Cleef, 2 shades of Naxxramas, 2 SI7 agents, 1 assassin's blade just to give that blade flurry a little more reach, an Azure Drake, 2 Gadgets and Auctioneers, and 2 Sludge Belchers.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about this deck?
Solid.
Solid.
It doesn't
fun.
seem it. It's a weird deck to play, but
Never
like
played
it,
it.
it gets there, man.
It has a different curve than other decks that I've seen before, where it just doesn't have 4-drops that it wants to play. at
Yeah,
all,
there's
really.
0 4-drops in this deck.
Yeah, there was
I-
only one in when Leroy was.
Right.
I
mean,
wanna-
yeah.
I want to thank you guys for making this deck on my account because now I can actually play it and try it.
Yeah, check it out, man. Let me know what you think.
Come back next week and let you know how I feel about it.
I do like the addition of Shade of Naxxramas. That does seem really
Yeah, especially
Seems
with
cool.
the conceals.
sweet. Or just Cold Bloods
Yeah,
because
Cold
like
Blood.
you want a target for your Cold Blood that's already
That's true.
stealthed forever.
And Rogue didn't have a lot they wanted to do on turn 3 before. They had like Earthen Ring that they might be casting.
What do you mean?
before.
Isn't Fan of Knives? Isn't that their standard play?
Right.
Just draw a
Most of the time
card.
it was hit you in the face and redagger. Like that was what you did on turn 3.
Yeah.
But now it's like just cast Shade of Naxxramas and set up for the end of the end game.
I just think it's cool though that you can attack with him as when he's already stealth and build up, attack him, conceal, re-stealth him.
Yeah, definitely very cool. Alright, so that just about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Weekly Grind, our second episode. once again, those deck lists that we just went through, you can find on our Facebook and our Tumblr, which I will be posting the link in our description for the video. We will be back next week with another podcast. We're aiming to get these up at least, maybe on the weekend or the beginning of the week.
Probably like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, you can expect these in earliest of Sunday. That's if you're really lucky, and, or a latest of Tuesday. But they will be up on our YouTube page. Right now, we're working on getting it onto iTunes, and we'll be looking for other outlets. If you have any suggestions for other places we can post this podcast, just send us an email at theweeklygrindpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll take any reviews, comments, anything you want to say to us. You just want to give us a holler, you want to shout it on here, let us know. But that about wraps it up for us. Anything you guys want to say before we leave?
It's the, not the.
The week.
Are we going back to that?
Yep.
Oh,
Well, I
man.
mean,
The Weekly Grind Podcast. I apologize, guys.
Only thing I would say to new players is don't get discouraged just because you're not getting wins now. I mean, I only play a couple times a week. I've still managed to amass a decent collection over a couple months.
Those quests really add up after a while.
Yeah,
so-
You'll get there. Just get some packs, craft some rares you need.
Build zoo.
Build zoo.
I think it's
Get
definitely possible to still be a very good player and not invest any money into this game. You just beat
Absolutely.
your quests every day. You do the grind of getting that 10 gold for each win. Which have you guys maxed out? Because I maxed out last month and I was just so.
I think I've only purchased out of pocket maybe 3 arenas,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm not going to
Maxed out.
talk about. Put it in this
Just
game.
look at that
Bad
warrior
runs.
control.
I'm supporting a very good game. Okay, so you guys can.
Fair enough.
me.
I don't have a problem.
I have not. Let's say I have not spent a lump sum of money on Hearthstone.
There
in a
are
few
worse
months,
things to
okay?
spend your money on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There is much worse things.
Crack's
I-
probably more expensive. That's actually probably not true. That's a lie.
But yeah. So we will be back next week. Thank you guys for Mike. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, man. Pleasure to be here.
Luke, it's good to have you here. And you've heard from me and Dave and Paul last week, so we're old news. So don't worry about us.
yeah.
But,
Ouch.
I wouldn't mind coming back on again. This was fun.
So I think luck is the biggest thing in this game.
No
Base
skill,
only
no.
luck.
Better
No,
luck.
No. I mean, be superstitious. Don't knock over any salt.
yeah.
Don't break mirrors.
Yeah.
Walk under any ladders.
You know how many playable legends I've opened just from packs?
Yeah.
I didn't really the money I did spend
hate
on
you all.
packs. I didn't even open notable. I mean, I've opened Sylvanas Windrunner and
You have been opening legends that you don't already have.
yeah,
a
I
different-
craft all my
craft
junk
Sarah
rares.
and Bloodmage Thanos and
I
the
keep opening,
the Black Knight. I cracked that.
I keep opening triples of legends, and it's making me pull out my hair because I'm I don't
Oh.
need a third Edwin
worst- the worst-
I've
Van
opened
recently
Alex
just disenchanted
Straza.
a scenario.
I hate you.
Ugh.
I've opened Alexstrasza 3 times now, and I'm just it's so good. Can I just play, it probably would be good to play 2, but
You know what I
still,
get?
can I just
Junk
do it?
rare.
Just-
Junk rare.
I've
Crack
opened those
another pack.
Dormu
Junk
twice.
rare. I had to
But
craft
do you
wanna
three
talk about
from the
legends?
grounds
'Cause
up.
I'm pretty sure I got you all.
Just from dusting junk rares.
I've had a bunch of junk ones.
I think that it's safe to say that the RNG in this game is you're doing really good, you're not gonna get great cards. You're doing really bad, you just wait it out. You'll get this awesome legend that you've been waiting on. That's what it feels like sometimes,
Even
It's
if you
it's
keep
you're on that
going
arena
junk,
run that
you'll
you
get there.
go 1 and 3. I haven't really hit this in a while, but I'd go 1 and 3 and I'd open a pack and I would just get the legend I needed. It just that's what happened with Tyrion. Yeah. I mean,
I opened here.
I'd say Ragnaros early in the game. He was one of my first legends. When I popped him, it's just
I'm pretty sure most of us crafted that too.
Yeah.
right
Ragnaros?
beginning in the early of the game.
I opened Ragnarok.
I actually just crafted him for my Leroy.
Oh, nice.
I think I crafted them also. No,
And then-
maybe I opened them.
And then when I just opened the golden carrion blood huff, it was just It was awesome.
Yeah, I like the art on that.
Were
Man.
you like a little kid on Christmas?
Yeah. Recently it's been like that. Thank you, Hearthstone, for creating Christmas for me more than once a
And
year.
all of us.
Do you think there's a
Boys and
way
girls
to
around
build
the
this
world.
Tempo Rogue list as a budget list? Because
Is
I
it
guess
that expensive?
I
Yeah,
mean,
you don't really. I don't actually have the Van Cliff on mine because I haven't unlocked that card yet. I rock a Earthen Ring Farseer,
fair
Yeah.
enough.
Questing Adventure.
which I'm always
That's
happy
what
with
I
that
did.
card.
No, you're not.
I actually won games with it.
Mini
I
Van
don't
Cleef.
care. I don't
No,
care.
but it's
Not
just
even
it's a
little
value
bit.
3. It works well with the Sludge Belcher.
I mean, the
Oh, I
blood-
love Earth Ring Farseer. He's really good.
The Blood Mage could just be the, I forget what it's called, the 2-mana 2/2 that has spell power.
I mean, even with, you could just play 2 Azure Drakes.
Yeah, you don't even need.
You're a
Blood
little.
Mage.
It goes a little bit
don't have
clunkier
it.
on the top end, but Azure Drake's great.
Yeah, there's so many
Yeah,
5 drops.
Like, you can have Blood Mage play it.
Are you
It's just
ever
awesome.
upset to cast that Azure Drake?
Yeah, Azure Drake's
No.
awesome.
I mean, what do you think's the fill-in for Blood Mage Thanos? Do you think it's just like a Keoball Geomancer? Like, is that really...
Well, no, we were just saying.
Yeah, just play
It's,
another Azure Drake.
it's probably just another Azure Drake because the Geomancer is such a low impact card.
I see.
Like Blood Mage is good because you'll get
You'll
like
draw
a
a
2
card.
mana spell power guy isn't worth a card, but you'll get your card back out of the Blood
and
Mage.
I'll get a card.
You'll
off
never
that.
get that out of the Geomancer,
True, very true.
but you will get it out of the Azure Drake and some.
That's true. Does cost a little more mana, but
It does.
Blood Mage is so good with Phantom.
this
Menace.
deck is pretty powerful and can just win almost any matchup except for Handlock.
The removal in this deck's just so versatile. That's what I like about it.
Alright, guys. Well, we're probably going to go back to watching that tournament. And
Yeah, the
maybe
World
pass out
Championships
because
of Europe.
right now it is
Yeah,
2
I'm
a.m.
probably gonna get going. It's like almost 2.
Right.
We are all pretty exhausted, but it was definitely well worth it. Had a lot of
Yeah.
fun on this podcast.
Definitely.
Can't wait to do the next one.
Can't wait to do the next one. Yeah, like I said, the places you can find us are on Tumblr. We have a Tumblr account now, a Facebook account. We will soon have an iTunes podcast stream. So
We just got that submitted tonight, so hopefully that'll go through by probably the next couple of days.
yeah, we are not really going to be using SoundCloud very much. Maybe in the near future, yes.
Just a little too costly at the moment.
We just did make a Patreon account, though.
Yes.
It is in the making. We will have more details about that next week when we tune in. Unless you have anything more to share about that, Dave.
I mean, we're just looking basically to set up the rest of the account for the Patreon. We just need, obviously, the bank account and the PayPal set
Yeah.
up. And then once we get that, Patreon will be up and ready to go. If any of you feel like, donating 1 penny a month, that would be really cool.
Yeah, donating anything would be awesome.
You can donate anywhere between 1 cent to $100 a month.
It would
but
be purely symbolical, but it would be
I have
cool.
a dollar. I have a dollar.
every cent will go back into this podcast for the moment. So, we definitely need to start upgrading some equipment to make this podcast a better quality, at least.
I can pitch in some, I know.
Yeah, we're definitely looking to expand on this. Get some guests on here.
We'd eventually like to turn this into a stream, or at least get some YouTube videos going, because that sounds
that'd be
more
fun.
reasonable right now.
Yeah, you can
Some arena runs going.
You can expect that in the next couple of months. We will be trying to get streams up, and we will be trying to also get some YouTube videos, maybe just some Hearthstone videos. Yeah, this concludes our podcast for the weekly grind.
Thank you for joining us this week. We all had a blast doing it. Stayed up probably a little too late to do it, but
I was trying to ask if it was
I have
done.
work
was
in
like,
the
are we
morning.
done? Are we just
Yeah.
At some point, I'm like, are we still talking about stuff on the podcast? Is that stuff that you guys are just talking to each other about that you'll have to do?
All right, well, we will see you guys next week. This is Josh once again.
I am Dave.
Luke.
Mike, SilentStorm.
And I'm Paul.
And have a great week. Play some